Hi, everyone. Welcome to Literacy Night. I am Natalie McDaniel,
And I'm Judy Core.
and we're going to be talking about reading and snap word practice that you could do at home with your kids.
All right. So here in kindergarten, we use this ABC chart and it's for letters and sound practices. So how we use this is we name the letter, we say the picture, and then we say the sound. So for example, I would start with A, I would say apple, and then I would say ah. I'm going to do it without saying all the I would say this time. A, apple, ah. B, ball, buh. And we continue to go on. This really helps our learners with recognizing the letter and the sound that the letter makes instantly.
And we'll usually do this like at the beginning of reading time once we've learned it. And the kiddos can read through this all on their own before they'll start reading books and stuff. And then this is our blends chart, blends and digraphs, and it is pretty much the exact same way. It works the exact same way. So instead of it just being one letter and a picture and a sound, it is going to be, you'll name the blend or the digraph, you'll say the picture and say the sound. So for example, at the top, if you look, they go down here vertically, and these would be all S blends. Then you have all the R blends, L, and H. So you do it the same way. So if I was going to do the first one, for example, I would say SC, scarf, sk. So it makes that sound. So we practice this one. After we've mastered the ABC chart, we kind of move on to this chart. And this really helps the kiddos when they're reading and they're writing to know these blends. Since it's two letters that make a new sound, it's kind of tricky sometimes.
Yes, like Miss McDaniel said, our learners have one of these in their writing folders, and they know that when they are working on their writing, especially after we've mastered our snap words, which we'll talk about next, they make sure that all their blends and digraphs are spelled correctly, and they use this chart for help. All right. So learning snap words is really big in kindergarten, and we have a whole anchor chart that we use, and we've used this all year long with every single word that we've learned. So me and Miss McDaniel are going to play teacher and student, and we're going to practice and show you how we teach snap words here in kindergarten. So the first thing we're going to do today, class, is we're going to read the word. Point to it and help me read it. Go.
Go.
One more time.
Go.
Good job. Okay, now let's study it. Tell me what you notice.
I notice that they're both lowercase letters.
Yes.
I also notice that there is one consonant, which is the G, and one vowel, which is the O.
Great job. Now let's spell it.
Okay. G-O.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's do it one more time.
All right. G-O.
Go. Go. Awesome. Now let's practice writing it in the air. G-O. Go.
Got it.
Good job. Now, Miss McDaniel, would you like to use it in a sentence?
Sure. I would love to go to the park.
Great job.
So we'll go through all of our words. Every time we introduce a new sight word or snap word, we do this process with every single word to really make sure that they're learning it and studying it and getting to know that word.
And they use it in practice, which also helps them with really learning it and knowing how it's spelled and looks.
Okay, so next up, we're going to go through just the snap words that we have. So in pre-K, they don't necessarily have snap words that are goals for their pre-K friends, but towards the end of the year, once they've mastered all the other things that they're trying to learn, they introduce these 6 words. So these are kind of the 6 words that in pre-K, they'd like for them to learn them before they come to kindergarten. But then you'll see on the next page here, here in first grade, in kindergarten, we have a lot of snap words that we learn. There's actually 54 of them. And we have different ones we want to master by each grading period. So the first grading period, we have like these first 6 that we try to get done and really know. And you'll see that we have different standards. So your MET standard would be that you know 3 or more. Your approaching standard would be that you know 1 or 2. And then the IPS insufficient progressive standard is 0. So you haven't learned any of those words yet. And since we do go through and we learn each word, like we just showed you guys, most of the time they do get these 6 words. And these are some of those words that they taught them in pre-K. So hopefully it kind of transfers over. But then as you can see, as the year goes, the words become even more that they need to learn. And in our phonics books, you'll see that at the top where it says phonics book 2, book 3, and so on. As we're teaching the phonics lessons, these words are introduced with those lessons. And we practice them so much in the classroom, and we have them hanging up on our word walls and just around our boards. They're always around for the kids to see. And so it's really important for them to learn these words. And when we say snap words, we mean they need to know them in a snap. Okay, we want them to know them right away, because sometimes snap words are words that you can't really sound out. And so they really just need to be able to look at it and know it right away. Do you have anything to add to that, Ms. Core, you think?
Oh, I just love that you said snap words are words that you just know instantly. If a learner is trying to sound it out, so let's say can, for example, if they're trying to say k, eh, n, they don't know that word in a snap, and we wouldn't be able to count it correctly.
Exactly. And you will see that on this chart, there's 54 words. And if you notice by the end of the grading period 4, technically you only have to know 25 to meet the standard that we have, but we really like them. We really try to focus to try to get them to learn all of them, because next you're going to see that in first grade, there's even more words and they're bigger words. And there's a couple I think that might overlap, but it's the same concept. You can see over here on the right-hand side, the grading period, how many they need to know. And if you look at the end, by the end of the year, they do need to know all 100 of these words to meet the standard. So it's real important that we, pre-K and kinder, we kind of are getting that foundation and learning those, because the words are going to get harder and harder. And we're going to show you in a little bit how really knowing these words is going to help you become a better reader, and just really knowing them in a snap.
Okay, good. Okay, the next thing we're going to show you is just some examples and game ideas. We do call them snap words, but you may have heard sight words before. But once we enter kindergarten and we do our Lucy Hopkins phonics, they become snap words. So we're going to give you guys some ideas and examples that you can do at home with your little ones. And these were all just things that we thought could be fun. So you could write the words out in a notebook. You can even write them on a note card if you don't have the flip book. You can write them in black, and then your child can trace over them in glitter and then read through them.
Yeah, I thought this was a really cute idea. It might be good for the beginning, but just something to think about is kids do memorize words in order. So maybe you make them, and if it has something where you can tear them out if you wanted to do it this way, and then you could mix them up later and use them as flashcards, just so they're out of order. The next idea is just kind of a fun one that is using those sight words. And if you had shaving cream, you could put it on a table, maybe like a picnic table or somewhere that you don't mind getting a little bit messy. And the kids just practice writing their sight words in the shaving cream. And it might sound silly or kind of, oh, do they really like this? But they do. They think it's so much fun. And then in between each word, you just kind of clear it, move all the shaving cream around and then start over with a new word. Just something fun to do to practice.
Yes, anything tangible, anything that they can get their hands on, that is going to help them learn. And then even if you had like a baking sheet or a cooking sheet, you could put some shaving cream on that as well.
Mhm.
Okay, and then this one is sand or sugar writing. Like you can see, this is in like a pencil box. You don't just want to pour some sand or sugar on your countertop. So pour it in a box and you can write your you can write your snap words down on a flashcard for your child, or you can just use the list and have them go through them and write them in the sand or sugar with a paintbrush. They could use their finger, might be more fun with a paintbrush. And I said you can have them go through the list, but I think it'd probably be better if you had flashcards. Like Miss McDaniel said, kids do start memorizing and you don't want them just to memorize the order. So I would kind of cut them up in flashcards and do it like that.
Yeah, and also just make sure whenever you are writing them that you're hearing them say the word too. They're not just copying the writing, but they're actually saying the word. We do want them to know how to spell them, but really it's can they read them automatically. So the next idea is to use Play-Doh. You could use Play-Doh like this first example where you build a word. You'd have to roll the Play-Doh. You might have to help them a little bit with this. It might be a little bit tricky, but roll the Play-Doh and try to form the words. I know this example kind of shows you what the Play-Doh writing would look like, but you could just have your normal list there and have them look at that and try to make the word. Or the other picture kind of shows you where you could just get Play-Doh and flatten it out and then use like a toothpick to write the words in the Play-Doh. And same thing when they're making these, just make sure that they're saying the words too, to really make sure that they're learning those words. And I know that at least for kindergarten at the beginning of the year, we give you that list and it's a big list and we give it to you at the beginning of the year. But just doing these ideas and kind of slowly doing them, maybe doing like they showed here, 4 words a night, and maybe doing some activities with just a few words at a time. Don't try to do all 54 or however many, in one night.
Sure. And we do teach them based on 9 weeks. So I say like the first 9 weeks, you focus on those first words, and then there's only 6 words the first 9 weeks. So once your child has mastered them, of course, go ahead and move on. But I wouldn't try to throw too much on them at once.
Definitely.
Okay, memory or go fish, 2 sets of words. So this one is kind of like the card game. Memory, you can do this honestly with anything, doing addition, facts, whatever you're doing. But if with your snap words, you will have to make 2 sets of them. You can use index cards or you can print them out on different colors. And then the kids would just have them facing down flat, backwards, upside down. It'd be upside down, so they obviously can't see them. And then they would flip 2. If the words are matching, they get to keep them. And if they're not, they would just flip them over and turn them back down, and then somebody else would get to go.
Perfect. And then you could also play Go Fish with it, but you need 2 sets for that. So that way you're finding your pairs. So if you decide to make 2 sets of cards, those are 2 options of some games you could play with them. And then if you have magnetic letters, this is always a fun one. The kids love to build words with letters. And I know sometimes your sets might have might be all capital letters or all lowercase letters. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Just whatever you have. But you can see here, they had all capital letters, I guess, in their set of magnetic letters. So it's just basically exactly what it seems like. You just build words, and they have it on a cookie sheet because that's magnetic. If you maybe had them just on the side of your refrigerator or whatever, you could have your list hanging there on the refrigerator and have your letters, and then the kids can just practice building their snap words there, or really anywhere that's magnetic, you could do this. Baking sheet is just kind of an idea that's easy that you could move and do anywhere.
That's great. Hopscotch. This would be a fun one. You could play hopscotch as in wherever they land, they have to read that word to you. And they could even have siblings play with them. And obviously, you know, when the rain washes it out, you use new snap words and just really get those snap words down in practice.
Definitely. Okay, so this one is called O Snap, and it's a popsicle stick game. So if you got popsicle sticks, they wouldn't have to be these colorful ones. It could be any popsicle sticks. And you write the sight words on them just at one end, kind of like these are here on the left. And then you put them in a cup or any kind of container face down where you can't see the words. And so you're going to pull a stick, and when you pull it, you're going to read that snap word. If you get it right, you get to keep it. And then it'd be the next person's turn and they would do it. But on just maybe like 2 or 3 of them, you're going to write "Oh snap" on them. And if they pull the one that says "Oh snap," then they have to put theirs back in the container and kind of start over. So it's kind of one of those games that, you know, they might get a little upset or a little frustrated, but it's fun. But you'd want to set like a goal. So say, depending on how many words you have in there, if you're only working on the first 6, like in kindergarten, you might want to make multiple of those 6 words and maybe only put in one O snap in there. But then as the list builds throughout the year, you could add more of those O snap words in there. And you might say, okay, the goal this time we play is whoever gets to 4 snap words first, you know, they win. But then as you build it and you get more and more snap words in your container, you might say, okay, this time let's see whoever gets to 10 first, they win. Because you might draw the O snap stick a few times and they might get a little frustrated, but it's a lot of fun. The kids usually love this game. So it's an easy one you could take anywhere with you, really, you know, play it in the car or anything. And it's one that they really enjoy.
Pull and peel Twizzlers. So it's exactly how it sounds. If you have your snap words written out on index cards, they can pull Twizzlers apart, break them, and create their snap words with the Twizzlers.
Yes, definitely. So
Pipe
fun.
cleaners are an option too. I don't know if we have pipe cleaners on here.
Yeah,
Pipe cleaners are an option too.
you could totally do pipe cleaners too. But yeah, I would say you wouldn't want to reuse these too many times, you know, make a word or 2 and then get to have a snack or whatever. Okay, so password, it says today's secret password is, and it has hanging here is said. So the way this is played is that you would just somewhere in your house, you would hang a snap word. You wouldn't even have to have this background that says today's secret password is. You could just have your index card that you've have all your cards written on and or your snap words written on, and pick one of them. Maybe it's one that your child's really having a hard time with. And every time we're practicing, they're not really getting that one correct. So you would hang it somewhere in your house that's like a high traffic area. So for example, in my house, I might hang it like next to my kitchen area because that's somewhere that we kind of go through a lot. And every time you walk past that, you have to say the word. But everybody in the house plays. So every time I would walk by the word, I'd have to say said. Every time my daughter would walk by, she'd have to say it. My husband, like we would all say it. And so it's like your secret password for the house. But every time you say it, you walk by it, you have to say it. So it's teaching you that word. You're seeing it and you're saying it over and over. And then like, say my daughter's sitting and playing, but she hears me. Oh, I walked out in the kitchen. I passed the word and I said, you know, so they're hearing it over and over. It might be that you want to keep it up for a few days or a week or however, you know, long, but it's just a fun little game and it gets everybody in the house involved and it's super, super simple. Or maybe it's in your car, you know, you have one in your house and you could even put one in your car. And like when y'all get in your car, every time you got to say the secret password or whatever. So it's just a fun, easy little thing to do with your snap words.
Yes. Oh, pipe cleaners. So we do have pipe cleaners, but this one is pipe cleaners and beads. So you have to have some beads that you can string onto the pipe cleaners, and this will just really help the kids when we do come to trying to get the words spelled correctly. They can string them onto the pipe cleaners and just make sure that they're saying them as they are building them.
Exactly. Okay, so then what we wanted to show you, so those were just all fun ideas because everyone knows that just learning your snap words and reading them on a piece of paper or flashcards, it gets boring and kids don't want to do it all the time. So we're not saying go make all these things or go do all these things. These are just some ideas of some things you could do. But we wanted to show you a couple different leveled books so that you could see how they progress and how in the books, the snap words are in there. So if the kids know their snap words, they're going to be able to become a more fluent reader. So this is a level 1, which is like beginning of the year kindergarten. And if you look here, you can see that this says, I can see my door. Well, I can see in my, those are all snap words. So if they've learned those, they can read every word on this page, but maybe not door. But we use our picture, we learn it's called picture power, that we use our picture power and we will look at our picture to help us figure out that unknown word. But you can see if they know their snap words, there's 4 in this one sentence. So learning them is really going to help them become a better reader.
Just to add on to what Miss McDaniel is saying, it is so essential in kindergarten and in pre-K and first grade that these learners learn their snap words. These are words that they're high frequency words. They're going to see them in their reading. They're going to transfer them over to their writing. And it just helps them become so much of a better reader once they have mastered them. I cannot stress this enough. Anytime that you do get with them, practice these snap words. And I mean, I think we'd have to say we are pretty fortunate that our families do, and most of our learners have learned all of them, and we haven't even hit the end of the year yet. But just please, please, when you can, practice these snap words. It once they build that foundation, it transfers over into their reading, and then it also transfers over to their writing, which builds a more confident learner.
Yes. So this was a level 1. So the next one is a level 4. So you want to talk about this one, Ms. Core?
Yeah, so level 4 is end of the year kindergarten. And if we're looking at this book, it's Where is Marco? We use a lot of context clues in kindergarten, picture power. So this one has a pattern. If you'll see, it says, Where is Marco? And then, is he with a pirate in a boat? And we really do focus on those patterns and recognizing these patterns. And so if you look at the next page, it says, Where is Marco? Is he with a camel in a desert? They can look at the picture and really kind of figure out once you've really read that first page and then the second page and they've figured out, okay, well, it's a pattern book. They can look at the picture and tell you what's happening. And then once again, it has all those snap words in there. We have is he with a in a. So is where a snap word? No, no.
Not in kindergarten. Not in kindergarten, but it will be in first grade.
Yes. So just once they get those snap words and then they understand that, okay, my book has a pattern, this is the level that they're heading to towards the end of kindergarten.
Yeah. So this is what end of the year kindergarten is. So now we're going to jump ahead. This is a level 4 and they do go up by 2 every time. So it goes 2, 4, 6, 8. But by the end of the year, they need to be at a level 16 in kindergarten. In first grade, I'm sorry, in first grade. So you'll see there's a lot more words on the page here. And it is a lot harder. It jumps a lot in first grade from kindergarten. So this is why we're really, really, really stressing those snap words and learning them, because if they know all those words, then they're only having to decode and figure out just a handful of words or not as many words. And it doesn't become quite so stressful for some readers and stuff. So there's still tons of snap words on this page you can see here. And it is a big growth, like I said. So learning those is just very key.
Yes, it is a really big foundational skill that we really, really need your help with as parents.
So that is the end of our presentation. We hope that you enjoyed it and learned a few things, got a few ideas.
And we thank you. Thank you for just giving up your time to be here with us, and we appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.